What are you looking for in a consultant?
Yeah, I think typically if I'm hiring a consultant, there's one of two things that I'm looking for. The first one would be subject matter expertise. Sometimes we need people who just have skills and insights and credentials that we don't have internally. Say, for example, if we were looking to do something in the sustainability field, having a consultant who is an expert in sustainability would be great. But most of the time, it's not subject matter expertise we're looking for. It's process expertise. It's somebody who can come in and create a neutral process that leads us to the right outcome. One of the biggest challenges you have in organizations of any size is that there are structural impediments to success. And a lot of them have to do with different roles and responsibilities and a lack of neutrality, right? People make decisions based on seniority. Consultants have the authority to come in and really design a neutral process that solicits all the right information and then allows the group to make really effective decisions, but in a neutral way, rather than the leader decides. There's process behind great consultants that really allows them to help you work through a series of exercises to kind of get to the right answer, ensuring that everybody's voice is heard with equal weight and that the decisions are well thought out, that the problem that's being discussed is the right problem, all of those things. For me, when I was a consultant, one of the most important things that I focused on was process. I recall being in many, many meetings and being asked, to answer a question right out of the gate. You walk in and you're confronted with a problem and you're asked, what do you think we should do? And I think if you answer that question right out of the gate, you've lost already as a consultant, right? You have to figure out what's the right process to get to this answer. What are the right questions? Who are the right people to ask? What is the right information that we need? And so really great consultants, to me, it's more about process than subject matter expertise. But typically, a consulting assignment requires one or the other, and you have to be clear on which one it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would be the value of having an outside validation of consulting kind of expertise?
Whether it's validation or whether it's just neutrality, I think that's helpful, right? Because there's so many layers of politics within organizations, and so having somebody who comes in and is really kind of removed from that, it also it insulates people from a risk-taking perspective too, right? Sometimes it's hard for people in organizations to come forward and take a stand and really put something aggressive out there for fear of failure or otherwise. Having a consultant come in who's really got lots of expertise and great experience in the field, and also brings an outside voice, that can be really helpful, because I think a lot of organizations suffer from really inside out thinking as opposed to outside in thinking. Mm-hmm. And so bringing in external data points and external expertise and an external perspective can often be invaluable, especially for organizations that pride themselves on serving delicious Kool-Aid and asking their people to drink it loyally.
Right.
Great consultants can come in and really kind of inflect or inject a dose of reality to places, bring external data points to bear that kind of just create more real discussions that countenance the way the world really is as opposed to the way the company sees it.
Mm-hmm. Last question. What would be your thoughts on cost? Because people have the perspective that outside consultants can be pricey.
Well, they can be, and I think one of the things that engenders distrust about consultants is that they get paid regardless of outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. Especially consultants who charge by the hour. And so really, I think clarity around objectives and what we're trying to achieve and some cost certainty can always be helpful. And I think it's nice for consultants to have a little bit of skin in the game and take some risk, right?
Right.
The consultants that you just bill out and charge hours regardless of what the outcome is, I think again engender a little bit of distrust, because at the end you're just selling your time, and what companies are looking for is outcomes. So coming up with newer and creative models to tie the revenue that consultants achieve to the success that they're able to deliver, I think are models that are certainly more favorable to companies. I don't mind paying at all, and paying fairly and even and generously when consultants come and help solve problems that produce exactly the results we're looking for. But I certainly get frustrated when we engage consultants to help us drive results, and at the end of the day, the results aren't achieved, and you get a bill for
Right.
tens of thousands of dollars, and there's not really an equation of value. And I think a lot of times the cost and the value don't line up, and I think consultants have to be very wary of that. And I was always very wary of that as a consultant. Can I deliver value against this? Can I actually achieve what the client's looking for? And if I couldn't, then I would reject the assignment because that doesn't build trust.
Great. Thank you.